Hello everyone. These last past days I remembered about a card trick that I used when I was a child to impress my friends, and this card trick is called the 21 cards card trick. So if you like to see what I'm speaking about, you just can open a Google browser and just look for the 21 cards trick. And here you will find a lot of links, but one of the best links that I saw, and it's really nice explained, is this one. It explains exactly how to make the card trick, what's going on behind the scenes, and everything. You will understand everything from there. It's really basic, really nice. Just have a look. Okay, so we can build this program in two ways. A simple way where we are going to use a list with some numbers inside, with 21 numbers representing the 21 cards, and then we are going to arrange the 21 numbers in some other three rows with seven numbers each row. And later on, once we have this running and the program is correctly picking up the correct number, then we can think about going a step forward and then implementing this backend of the program into a graphical user interface using Pygames. I will use Visual Studio, but if you don't have Python installed, or if you have some other IDE that you prefer, this is not a problem. If you don't have a Python installed, you can use an online compiler. So for example, if we open a new web page and then we search for example, for this compiler, this is a quite good compiler and it should make everything work. I already tested it. We will first write the code in Visual Studio, and after we finished writing the code and we see that everything is working, then I will just copy and paste the code here, and I will show you that the code is working as well here. Okay, so then without any more further ado, let's just dive directly in. Okay, so let's start by importing random. Then let's create some variables that we are going to use soon. So let's just say we need three lists, row A and small a, and we define this as a list, and then row B and another list, and row C. So we are going to use this list a bit later when we are going to place the numbers inside of them and then display them for the player to see in which of the list he sees his number that he was thinking about. Now we need another variable that we will call game on. Game on, and we will set this one to true. And we are going to use this variable in a while loop, and while game on is true, then the game is going to run, and once we finished, we just set game on to false, and then we are going to pop out of that while loop, but we will see that a little bit later. Okay, and now we also, for the same loop, while loop, we also need a counter. So because we need to go through this displaying of cards in rows for 3 times and remaking the pack and so on. So let's go say here counter is equal to 0. So once we have all of this already set, let's now create a deck of cards. So let's use a list of numbers instead of representing the deck of cards. So let's just say deck of cards is equal to, and then we have to make here a list, and we just say list, and inside range, and we will start with 1 and we will go up to 21. I wrote here 22 because the last value in the range is not going to be um, taken. So it's the range, the list will start from 1 and it will go up to 21. But let's just see that by printing the list. Print deck of cards. And if we just run it now, sorry. And we have the deck of cards. So yeah, list of numbers. So we have 21 numbers starting from 1 and going to 21. And to make things a bit nicer, let's just shuffle these numbers so that the second time when the game is restarted, these numbers will not be in the same order. So let's do that here. And here is where we are going to use the random module. So you just say we'll say here random shuffle, and we want to shuffle the deck of cards. Good. And if we just clear this and run it one more time, now we have it shuffled and one more time. And you can see that each time that we are running it is going to be yeah, different. Okay, clear. Now we basically need three functions. One function will do the arrangement of numbers in rows. Um, so we will take the numbers in this list and we'll arrange them in three rows, and then we'll display this this list for the user, and we can ask him, okay, please tell us where your in which row your number is. But before doing that, we have to here also make a small break in the program so that the user can actually or the player can actually see, okay, these are the numbers. I will think about, I will decide on one, and then I will go forward. So to make a break in the program, we just use input, and we can say here, please pick a number, and then press enter. Okay, so it should be fine. Let's have another go at it. So, and now we have please pick a number and then press enter. And now the program is waiting the reaction of the player. So, okay, I just picked 20, let's say, and then I hit enter, and now the program stops. Good. After displaying and asking the player to pick the number, then we have to display these numbers in three separate rows, and the rows that we have already defined here, predefined here. Okay, so let's make a function, and we can put this function in between here, or even under this one. Let's do it here. So let's define card row and display, because this is what it's doing, is just displaying. And this, let's write it. And now, because we are going to use this deck of cards and we are going to modify it, we have to say here, tell Python that we need this exactly this variable. We would like to modify it, and we would like to actually modify a variable that is in the a bigger scope, in the upper scope. So in actually, I think the name is in the main scope. So let's just say here we will say global deck of cards. So now Python knows that we are referring to this variable and not some other variable that we are going to supposedly create inside the function. Okay, so now we need to create the three rows. So I will just start with the first row for I in range. And here it's very important, as in the real card trick, we have to take a card from the deck and place it one by one in the three rows. So first row, second row, third row. and then again first row, second row, third row. We don't have we must not fill the first row completely from 1 to 7, second row from 1 to 7, sorry, 8 to 14, and so on and so forth. We need to go one by one. So that's why here we are going to start with from 0. So from the first card in the deck, going up to 21, and then each third card. So with a step of 3. Okay, and we have to append this card here. I have to put here. Okay, then we have to append this card to the first to row A. So row A, punct append, and deck of cards, and I. Okay, and now we have to go now with the second row. So it will be the same for J in range. And as I said earlier, now we are going to pick not the first one, but the second card. So we are starting with the second card in this case here. Okay, so from 1 to range 21, again with the same step of 3, and we do the same thing, row, and now we are going to place it in B, append, and then we have again deck of cards and J. Okay, and the last row for K in range, and now of course we start with the third card. Sorry, with the second card. No, I said it's yeah, it's with the third card, but starting from 0, it's actually the second here. 21, and then with the again we go to 21 and with a step of 3. So the same thing, and row underscore C now, append, and we append deck of cards, and we append K. Good. Now that we have the rows created and the lists created, let's now also display them for the player so that the player can see, and then he can tell us, okay, or tell the game, okay, my card is in this row, or in this it is in this row. So let's say print, and let's make I will just make here a separator, 30 hashtags, and now again print, and we are going to use here format dot format built-in method, say like that. So here is going okay, and dot format, and we need to do this 3 times. Okay, and here we have A, and then row A, and then here we have B, and row B, and C, and row C. So what format method is doing here, it's just placing in the first, we can also, for example, get say here 0 and 1, 0 and 1, 0 and 1. If we leave it blank, the format will just take the first member, it will put it in the first empty curly brace, and then it will take the second member and it will put it in the second curly brace, and we will see that very soon once we print it out. So let's say here print. We need to also to print a question to the user and asking him, okay, please let us know in which row is your number. So in which row is your number? And we have here A, B, Okay, say or C and question mark. Okay. And I forgot to do something here because we picked up all the cards from the deck of cards and we place them in rows, then this means that the deck of cards is now empty. So here we have to say deck of cards and we have to make it empty. We have to empty it. Otherwise, next time we are going to go through this function, we might get some issues having again some other cards inside. So that's why we double values inside. So that's why we have to make this deck of cards here empty. Okay. So I think we are fine. Let's try to clear and then run this. Okay, so we have the list, and then let's say we have already decided on a number. I don't know, 4, and then we hit enter. Of course, we have to first call the function to work. So let's go here, and for now, just call it like that. Card row display, and we have it like here. Okay, and now let's clear and run it. Okay, 10. We have decided on 10. Press enter. Good. And now we have the numbers placed in lists, and if you can see, 9 is in the first one, 14 in the second one, and then 16 here, and then going forward 12 and 6 and 7, 11, 4 and 9. So 3 by 3 in going in the row by row. Now that we have them like that, what we need to do, we have to interact with the player. So here we ask him, in which row is your number, A, B, or C? And we have to get an input from him. And so he can just press A if it's in A and then enter, and then we know how to, because this step is very important, we then have to place the row where his card was. So in our case, if we set 10, it will it would have been in, where is that 10? Come on, I can't. Here, C. Okay, C. We have to place C and take C and place it in between A and B. Okay, so let's do that. Let's create now another function down here, and we are going to call this function game run. So this function is used to interact with the player and also check some things. So first of all, we can say, of course, here choice, the choice of the player. Choice is equal to input first. So we are asking him, okay, what is your number? So we say here, please enter the row letter. And if we leave it like that, he might break the program by inputting some letter that is not defined as a row letter. So for example, he can press whatever he likes. So in this case, we have to make a list of or a tuple of valid letters. So let's do that. Valid, let's say valid choices is equal to, and let's make a I said tuple, and inside we can say A is a valid choice, and this represents row A. Then B is another valid choice, which represents row B, and then also C is one more valid choice, and it represents row C. Now that we have valid choices, we have to check if the choice that he inputs is inside the valid choices. And we can do that just in 1 second. The only thing that we have to do now, we also have to check or transform whatever he has inserted in a uppercase letter, because he might insert uppercase A or lowercase a. So if he inserts lowercase a, then if we try to see if his input is inside this, we will get false because we don't have lowercase a, we have only uppercase a. Of course, we can also do here, let's say here, and then we can put also lowercase a, and then this will work. But let's make it a bit easier. We don't have to type all the letters, and we just say here, we use here another built-in method called upper. So what upper is doing is transforming whatever he has inserted into uppercase. Okay, now that we have transformed this to upper, we can now check if his choice is in valid choices. So if choice in valid choices. Okay, what we do now? If choice in valid choices, what we have to do? We have to retake the 3 rows. So these 3 rows we have to retake them and rearrange them in a complete deck. Like here, as I said before, where his row is with his valid his number, we have to put this row in between the other 2. So for this, we'll create another function. Let's say create the deck. And of course, we have to pass in something. I mean, we have to pass in the choice so that this function will know which choice he put, so it will know how to arrange it. So let's say here choice. And of course, we have to do this function. Let's make it underneath this one. So let's make it the deck here like that, and okay, and here we say definition or function, we create a deck, and we expect a choice here. Okay, and let's do that. And for now, we're just going to pass, and we are going to come. We'll come there later to this one. Okay, so let's go. So once, if everything is fine, if his input is in valid choices, then we are going to go here and we are going to continue the game. If not, then we have to do something. Let him know that something was wrong. So let's say here else print, and let's use now f strings. So f strings is like almost the same with punct format. But you'll see, so here we will go in this in between these 2 curly braces, we are going to place our variable, which will be choice. Oh. And let's say here is not a valid row letter. Okay. And once we print this, in order not to make the game stop or break the game, we have to recall this function here, and we force the player to give us a valid choice. So this will loop through until he has a valid choice, or he stops the game. So let's say here game run, not run, but game run. Okay, so we recall the function. Okay, now we have it. Okay, let's try now also to call here game run, and run it again. Clear and it should work. Okay. Okay, now we have it. Let's press enter. And we have A, B, and C. And we decided, let's say we have decided here on 19, and 19 we have in B. And now if we press C, no, let's press something else. G, No, it's not a given letter. Let's say J, no. But if you say B, please enter the row letter B, and it worked and it stopped. So the game stopped. Good. Now let's clear this. We need to do it. We need to first let's define, not define, but fill up this function and to rearrange these rows into a complete deck. Okay, let's do that. So again, we are going to say here global because we are going to use these rows from the upper scope or from the main scope, row B, and then row C. Okay, and let's do it. So in case here we have three choices, A, B, or C. So let's start with A. If choice equal, and then we have capital A. What we do? We say here for E, I in row. Okay, so now we have to put, because the choice is A, we have to put row A in between row B and row C. So let's pick here row B. I say here deck of cards, point append, and we have here I. And same with, now we have to place row A because later we'll place row C. So for K in row A, deck of cards. Oh, come on. Deck of cards, point append. Okay. Okay, and the last one for oh, it was here J. Let's just make it the same as above. So J, J, and here for K in row. Of course, now we have row C, the last row. Deck of cards, point append, and we have K. Okay, so we have them here. Let's create this for B and C. So if you like, you can stop the video right now and then recreate them by your own. Now we need to have B and C. So I will just copy this and we'll just modify. So for row B, here I will say row A because I have to put row B in the middle. And for row C, it will be the same. Rows, if choice is C, and I will leave B here. I will put here C and here A, small a. Okay, so we have B in the middle, AC, C in the middle, BA. It doesn't matter what is before this row or after this row, as long as the row with the valid number is in the middle. Okay, so now that we have them written, we need now to make this, because we emptied the rows and we filled the cards from the rows in the deck of cards. So now we have to make the opposite of this. So we have to clear the rows. So row A and row B and row C is equal to empty list. 2 and 3. Row A, row B. Okay. Okay, it looks good until now. What we need to do now, we have defined the definition, the game run, we have defined, recreated the deck, we have defined card row display. Now we only need to define the while loop that is doing this 3 times. Okay, So while game on, so game on now is true. So while game on, it means that while this game on is true, we do something, and we are going to call call this function, call this function, and then because we have to display first the row, and then we display the game run, and inside the game runs we are calling this rearranging, and we start from let's say from zero or from the beginning with the cards rearranged. And here we say counter. We increment the counter by 1. Okay. And here, if the counter is greater than 2, so if counter is greater than 2, then we can make game run false. So game run equal to false. You can see here that I haven't said global game run because now we are in the main scope. We are not in some function, we are here in the main scope, and we don't have to say tell Python that we are discussing about game run from some outer scope. No, we are already here, and that's why I didn't not specify global. After we make game run false, what we can also do, we can print the number which our player has picked. So I say print, and here we have, let's use again format, curly braces, is your number, and like that. And here we have format, and we can just pick the card that is in the middle of the pack, because all the time the card in the middle of the pack will be the card that the player choose. So let's say deck of cards, and then the middle of the card will be the 10th card. So actually, because we are starting from 0, it's the 10th card, but actually it will be the 11th card. So there will be 10 cards before and 10 cards after. So it will be exactly in the middle. Okay, let's give it a try to see if it's working, and let's run it. Okay, so we have the deck of cards. I will just pick, let's say 12 and enter. Okay, and 12. 12 is in C. I'll just say C, enter. Okay, 12 now moved. No, it's still in C. Let's make this a bit bigger so we can see. Moved a bit towards the middle of the row. Okay, again C. And now we have 12 exactly in the middle of the row, but now in row A. So if we say now A and press enter, we have here a problem, line 73, game run, Boolean object. What is the problem? Deck of cards. What is the problem? Should be okay. This should be okay. It's okay. Game. Sorry, not game run, but game on. Okay, one more time. Press. Okay, let's pick a number. Let's say 10. Enter. 10 is in A now. And something is wrong here. Okay, so now we got this double values because we had to remove the rows not in this if statement, but outside of this if statement. Okay, let's kill it and clear and run again. Okay, run. Okay, so now we have, let's say 12. Enter. 12 is in B. So B again, 12 is again in B, and 12 is in A now. And yes, 12 is your number. We got the proper result. Let's clear. And what else I would like to do here? I will also make a delimiter. Let's make it the same as before. Hashtags, and let's say 20 hashtags. Okay, and try it one more time. So let's pick something else. 3, for example. And 3 is in A. 3 is in they are so small I can see in C, and then 3 is in B again. And again, but yeah. Okay, so 3 is your number. That's correct. Okay, now that we have seen that the program is working, let's also, as I promised in the beginning of the video, let's also test if it's going to work in a online compiler. So I will just copy everything from here, copy, and then I will open compiler, and I will press, I will paste everything in here. So starting from top to the bottom, it looks okay. Let's just make here one more space and run it. And let's pick a number, let's say 7. Then we have to, 7 is in C. 7 is again in C. Let's make capital C now. And then 7 is in A. Let's make uppercase A again. And 7 is your number. So you can see now that is working also in an online compiler. So no worries about that. Okay, so in the next videos I'm planning to also make a graphical user interface, as I said, using Pygames. This will be a bit more complicated, but it will be for sure fun. So stay around and see you later.